Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It is time. It is time. The man, the myth, the legend, the showstopper, the icon, the main event. Jesse V. Johnson has finally made it to the movie dojo. How are you doing, my friend?
I am good. Good to be here. Thank you
Yes.
for inviting me.
Like, finally, the samurai guy will stop bugging me, you know? But I appreciate it, my friend. I said, you know what? This would be perfect to get you on here just to talk for a little bit, and let's watch this trailer together. And congratulations right off the bat. I have been receiving constant positive praise from a lot of people that are your fans, saying, Samurai Guy, you got to watch the trailer. It looks amazing. So I can't wait to watch it. So congratulations. A lot of positive feedback Samurai Guy is getting over here.
Good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I've been a long time fan of your films. And I mean, come on, man. The Debt Collectors movies are phenomenal. Accident Man is just so good. And here on the channel, when we review movies, it's very rarely we give a film a perfect score. It's very rare. We'll give a movie 5 out of 5 stars. And to me, that was Avengement, man.
Fantastic.
Nailed it. That's right. We set it in stone right here on the channel. 5 out of 5 stars, baby. And I feel that that is Scott Adkins' best work, in my opinion. And I'm a huge Scott Adkins fan, and I love all his movies. But man, especially the Debt Collectors films, are so much fun.
I tell you,
Go ahead.
he committed in Avengement like no other time I've seen him commit. Like no other actor that I've had the pleasure of working with. He was really into that. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a blast. But yeah, 5 stars, man. Had to represent badassity. That's right. And it was fun, having Marco Zaror on here. We were talking about some of his Isaac Florentine adventures, but Kung Lee had a lot of fun being on here, talking about Savage Dog and all that stuff. Working with you, he did have a blast. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it here. Hell hath no fury. Yes. Let's go ahead and let's have some fun. Let's start the fucking ruckus. Let's go ahead and watch the trailer first, and then we'll watch it again. And you can give your commentary, sir. Of course, staying away from spoilers, obviously, because we want people. The Movie Dojo Army, that's right. Everybody watching, that's right. We're going to have to go out and see this. We're going to buy it, all that stuff. Now, this is being distributed by Well Go USA, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
They
Let's
did
go
a
ahead now.
with me, which you may have seen as well. They're just brilliant. They have really good sort of ideas when it comes to press and marketing, and I like these guys.
Oh yeah, those guys are fantastic. Actually, I'm so excited. I'm kind of jumping the gun here. Hold on a second. The cast here, what a great cast you have in this movie. You have Nina Bergman in here, Louis Mandylor, the legend right there. You got Timothy V. Murphy, Dominique Vandenberg, a Jesse V. Johnson favorite, and Daniel Bernhardt. I'm fans of everyone here, especially Dominique here, man. The Pit Fighter was the first film of yours I saw, and I really enjoyed Pit Fighter. The Doorman was fun, but The Mercenary was really a great badass throwback, man. I really enjoyed The Mercenary. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
And Nina here, she was badass in a movie called, I mean, look at her right there. Come on, how can you not cast her in your film? She was badass in a movie called The Car Road to Revenge. I enjoyed her character in that. And of course, she was in The Beautiful Ones, which I also enjoyed that movie as well. And I'm looking forward to her upcoming movie called The Target, starring Olive Gruner, Martin Cove, and Patrick Kilpatrick, which I had the pleasure of having here on the channel talking movies not too long ago. And Timothy, man, loved him in Sons of Anarchy. He was great in Appaloosa. And of course, he was in your Green Street Hooligans 2, which was a lot of fun as well. And I've been a fan of this guy since Mortal Kombat Conquest. He may not admit that he was in that now, but I've been a fan of Daniel Bernhardt for a long time. And it's so awesome you got him in this movie. He did a phenomenal job in Nobody, training Bob Odenkirk, and he was great in that. And I enjoyed him also in the fun sci-fi action flick Skylines. Shout out to Liam O'Donnell, the director, who I also had on the channel as well. And, of course, Daniel's efforts in being a part of the Matrix franchises as well. So I gotta love Daniel. But one more quick shout out. Don't worry, we're gonna get to the trailer. Shout out to Louis Mandylor. That's right. Huge fan of this guy. Loved him in the Debt Collectors movies. And shout out to William Kaufman, another director I enjoy. The Brave. He was great in that. So I'm already loving the cast that you have in this movie, Hell Hath No Fury. Now that I got that out of the way, I had to set the scene, Jesse. Got to set the scene. Now, let's go ahead and go back to World War II. That's right. Set the scene. Let's get ready to check out exclusive here on that Phat Samurai Guy's channel with the legend himself, Jesse V. Johnson. Let's go ahead and bring it up here so that way we can react to it side by side. Bam, there we go. And let's have some fun. Let me blow it up a little bit here, and let's check this out. All right. Let me check one more thing really quick. Hold on. Make sure the sound is perfect. Give me one more second. And Jesse, I'm going to blow you up just for a quick second here. So let's talk a little bit about the idea. What came up? What brought you saying, you know what? I want to make a war film, World War II movie.
Honestly, or the pitch. I've wanted to do World War II for a long time. I love it to pieces. I'm absolutely obsessed with it, and
nice.
The stories that went on. My grandmother was quite involved in World War II. You know, she was in the British Army from 41 to 43, and told me immense amounts of stories growing up. And so there was always the seed of a story that I wanted to do, and I wanted to figure in a way of doing it a little differently. And when COVID hit, I put a call out for scripts that were minimally, didn't have a lot of location changes, didn't have huge cast. And this one was one of the, I think we had about 50 submitted. This is one that was submitted. It came from France. It was illustrated with beautiful comic book illustrations. It was in French that had been translated via Google. It was very, very difficult to read, but there was something about it, something about the illustrations that appealed. It had a very spaghetti Western feel to it, and I'm obsessed with spaghetti Westerns. Unfortunately, we're not in my house, so you'd see my Good, the Bad, and the Ugly poster behind me, which is where I do my business zooms.
Love it.
It's a period of filmmaking that I adore. As a kid, I tried to remake Fistful of Dollars shot for shot with a video camera, Betamax camera, and if you're old, you know what that is. And I got about midway before it just became ludicrous, but it was an obsession that sort of stayed with me. And when I saw these illustrations that came with this script, I was very, very intrigued. I had it properly translated. I'm fairly good at French, but not quite good enough to do that, I'm afraid. And there was something really original about it. It was written from a French perspective, historically 100% correct. I'm fastidious about that. It's hilarious reading the comments under the trailers. It's such an incredible bunch of munchkins out there. It's amazing. The film is absolutely positively, accurate down to the type of ammunition that's being used in the guns.
Nice.
The point is, it was a very interesting story told from this different perspective. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll say this much: in war, everyone has the capacity to do extraordinarily bad things, and they say the victors, get to write the history books, but and that is partially true. But this stuff happens that we brush aside because you want to put a particular golden aura on a period in history and say, oh, Allies were fantastic, the bad guys were easy to recognize because they were, Germans, and that was sort of it,
Right.
But it's an awful lot more complicated, especially in France with the repercussions around 1944. I mean, obviously the Germans were the bad guys. There was no questioning that. But the people that were going far beyond what was necessary with retaliatory acts towards supposed collaborators was absolutely atrocious. I mean, it was beyond description. But it doesn't fit the logic of what happens in war, so it gets brushed aside. This film deals a little bit with that, and other things as well, but also with extreme heroism, though it's not where you expect it to be in this picture, which is what, again, excited me about the script. It was a little different to every other one that's being written, with the holier-than-thou US troops and the, bleakly, forbiddingly evil Germans, which just gets boring to me. It's boring. They're like stormtroopers in a Star Wars movie if you treat it badly. There's more to it. There's more to history. There's more interesting stories there, and there's more character, and there's more detail and onion layers to pull back. And I think what Roman Serre, who was the French writer, did with this script was came up with something extraordinarily cool and original, but against a backdrop that we all find quite familiar, which is this spaghetti western type story.
Right.
Three different, very, very different groups looking for gold, and this one person that knows the secret.
Yeah.
We don't know where she stands,
Right, right. I like that. I love spaghetti westerns, man. The man with no.
We learn about her as the story unfolds, but it's a hell of a blast. And so I was looking for guys that could do this in COVID, and I went to my friends. I knew we'd be filming abroad, we'd be filming here, we'd be filming all over the place. It was going to be a labor of love. Everyone would get burned, blistered, cut, scratched. Everyone was covered from head to toe in dirt from the beginning of it to the very end. I mean, literally thick with dirt. I was covered with dirt at the end of each day. It was the filthiest film I've ever been on. Blood. Dominic, bless his heart, is fantastic in this one. It's the best thing I've ever seen him do.
Oh, nice. I'm excited.
I don't think you see him fire a gun in the trailer, and that's about it. But he's one of the most sort of nuanced characters in this, and really, really interesting, and just threw his heart and soul into it. Bless his heart. He was burnt, buried, hit with a stick, shot with a gun. He was hit with one of the Zerk guns, which is the guns, the air-powered guns that make the sparks.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit him twice in the face with it.
Man.
Great big welts that came up. It was absolutely a brutal shoot for him, but he never complained, and he's been dear friend. He started my career in the early days. He paid for a short film that we made after working on Mortal Kombat together, and both of us sort of planning to take over the world.
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since. He has dropped out a couple of times. He dropped out for a year to go back and fight in Burma. And I think he might have dropped out to do some mercenary work somewhere along the line as well, but he would not want me to talk about that.
Right.
And then the other guys I'd worked with, the only one I hadn't worked with before really was Daniel. And he'd been recommended to me by a writing friend of mine, James Coyne, who's a phenomenal writer and a very, very intuitive sort of Hollywood type and fellow. And he said, you just have to meet Daniel Bernhardt. You think you know him from his movies, but you don't. He's something else altogether. He's a very, very interesting fellow, extraordinarily talented martial artist, but also a brilliant actor. And he speaks 3 languages, German, French, and English, which are the 3 that this character was needed.
Oh, wow, perfect.
I met with him, and he's a charming human being, but very, very intelligent and intimidatingly good-looking and physically adept. And I thought, this is just too good to be true. He's the perfect character for this, and I think it's the best work he's done as an actor. I truly. As a stunt, he's done fantastic stuff in incredible films, John Wick and Atomic Blonde, and Nobody. I mean, these were films with $50 million budgets plus, on the low side, that is. Yeah. And so he's done some fantastic stuff, and there's no taking away from that. But his acting and the character he plays in this is phenomenal. I think people are going to be really excited to see him.
Oh man, how awesome is that? You got some fans showing up here. Welcome, Jesse V. Johnson. Accident Man and Avengement are some of my favorite action films of recent years.
You're my favorite fan who's turned up here so far. Brilliant.
All right, well, I'm already pumped. Looks like everybody paved the way. They earned their keep to be in this movie. Poor Dominique.
They did. These guys have worked with me before. Louis, of course, has been all around the world. And it's funny you mentioned Pit Fighter because Tim Murphy, that was the first one. It's the second one we did together. We all did the Honorable together before that, and then Tim came out to the Bahamas and shot with me on Pit Fighter as well as a small part. Yeah. So all of these guys, even Joseph Cannon, who plays in this one, probably the most sympathetic character in the whole movie. One of the GIs, one of the first killed, which is, I know it's a cliche, but an awful cliche. But Joseph is a phenomenal actor. I just took him out to Georgia with me as well. He's in the White Elephant with Bruce Willis and John Malkovich, and does a great job in that. But he worked with me first on Debt Collector Part 2. I met him. He's really, really good at Hell Hath No Fury. So
nice. I'm excited for White Rabbit. I can't wait till that comes out as well. You got Olga in that too. She's such a badass.
I wish my film was called White Rabbit. White Elephant.
Yeah. Right. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I got too much Matrix in my head recently.
I was thinking it's the Jefferson Airplane version.
White Elephant. There we go. Thanks for correcting me. But you know what's so funny when you brought up Mortal Kombat? Every time we watched that, for years, when the movie came out up to today, when I rewatch it with friends and people talk about that scene that Dominique's in, and he comes out there and he does his kata, and he's like, doing all his punches and stuff. And Sub-Zero's all the way across, and of course he just kind of cheats and just blows him up with the freeze attack. When that movie came out, even up till today, people still say there was no way Sub-Zero would have beat that guy. If they actually would have fought, Sub-Zero would have got his ass kicked.
I know the two fighters, and Dom would have wiped the floor with him.
Oh, God. I was like, because he's such a badass. But, yeah, I would love to have him on our podcast one day.
He'd love to do this. And
great.
For sure.
Nice. All right. I think I got it all keyed up. Let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and check out Hell Hath No Fury. Let me go ahead and blow it up. Let's do it. All right. Bam.
You want to tell us where that gold is? Maybe we can all go home.
I'm doing my best to remember. I promise.
If I were you, I'd keep real still, Marie.
There he is. Louis. Oh, man.
Well, then the fighting is over. Freedom.
Ne tire pas. Je suis résistante.
Then we're going to tar and feather that girl. She begged us to help her. Promised the major buried treasure.
Oh, shit. Okay.
We're gonna find that gold by sundown. This will not end nicely for you.
No gold, Major.
You're the one that told us there was gold here, Marie.
Vive France!
Damn!
Let's go. There he is. I saw him.
They here waiting for us.
I don't know.
She's a liar.
Man, this looks good.
Hitler's elite guard. Think there's a chance they just pass us by?
Hell no, they're coming. We will let you live. You gotta help us kill these Nazis.
All
You
right.
said you can shoot.
All right.
Question is, can you really?
Let's go. Let's go.
If we ambush them just right, they die.
Get in position!
We won't stand a chance.
Hell on earth. Who can you trust?
Don't you see? She's using you.
One clever trickster, Marie.
Maybe we put down these guns. We all get a little piece of that gold. We got a deal?
No more deals.
Oh, shit. Let's go. Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. That trailer scratches the itch, my friend. It scratches the action itch.
There's some good action in it. It's thought out and intelligent. It's an interesting one. I like the action in it. It challenged me, you know.
Yeah. But the cinematography the movie looks great.
He's brilliant. There's John Hall, who shot, everything going a long ways back, Avengement and both Debt Collector movies. He shot for me. What else? Just very, 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 very good. It's anamorphic lenses. It's proper old school style, which I love.
That looks good.
Trying to keep the camera as, a young director will try and move the camera in a way that makes everyone go, oh man, those are cool shots. Who shot this? As you become more confident, you try and make everything that's going on in front of the camera what gets the audience's attention and move the camera as little as possible, which means you got to think really, really hard about where you put it and how you move it. Challenge just becomes less as you become more experienced. It's that thing that Kurosawa said about directing: the more you learn, the less you know.
Right. Gotta love Akira Kurosawa. But we've got some comments here. This trailer looks great. Looking forward to it. Any movie that comes down to setting traps and defending waves of baddies. Count me in. That's right. We got another director in the house. Director Ranjit Mara. All right. He says, hey, Samurai. Hi, brother Jesse. Trailer looks badass. Louis is a good friend of mine and told me he loved working with you on the movie.
I love working with Louis. I'm a huge fan of Louis.
Yeah, he's the man. And Brandon says, badass. There we go. Yeah.
We did something transcendent with us all in Debt Collector. That first one where we had the first scene and that smelly old Cadillac, and he sat in there and he started coughing when he was doing the scene. Both Scott and I looked at each other. Oh my God, he's having some kind of emphysema, asthma attack. Are we going to have to call? And then we realized he was doing exact same place each take. And at that point, Scott looked at me, oh my God, I'm going to actually have to act in this. It's like, he said in the car. And at that point, I realized the two of them were just pushing each other, each scene, pushing each other a little harder, pushing the other one to be better than the other one. And then the other one would Scott had come back with something that shook Louis up. It was fantastic. It was like watching a tournament of types.
Yeah, and there's just such great chemistry between both of them. We got Eric here saying, damn, that looks like a badass flick.
Thank you.
In here. Oh, yeah.
On this one, man.
Since we are you allowed to answer this question? If not, I understand. But are we going to get a third Debt Collectors movie?
I think so. That's one of the few I'd go back and do. We're talking about it with Bleiberg. There's some thoughts on it, and those ones I find very exciting. I find them fun to work on because I enjoy working with actors. That's my big.
I mean, the way things are going right now. This might be one of my favorite new trilogies, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait. And Accident Man 2, is that still a thing?
Not with me. No, I backed
okay.
That one. They've got a great pair of directors. I think they've got coming in, and Scott's very excited about it. They'll do a good job with it. It's a good script. There's a point where I am now that it's very difficult for me to do those slightly smaller budgets. It's just tough. Just very, very difficult,
Right, gotcha.
I'd love to do it. I have an ex-wife and I have a child in college and another one.
Hey, I understand. I get it. I totally get it. Really quick before we watch the trailer again, and you can give some commentary. I have to ask this. Please put it in there. If no one else has asked this, put it in there if you can for the next Debt Collector movie. A fake movie trailer or something or some sort of Louis Mandylor's ninja movie. Come on. Have it on the background on the TV.
It has to be there. We'll get Louis to shoot it. We'll go out and film
Please. Maybe a fake trailer before the movie starts. I
like that idea.
Hey, woohoo! I hope that happens because it sounds like such a great idea because it's hilarious. It's just a lot of fun. But Ranjit asks here before we play the trailer again, what were the challenges of working on Triple Threat?
Well, it was a beautiful movie to work on. I loved it. It was one of the most fun. But we went into it with 2 scripts, neither of which were finished. So basically, it was a huge challenge to write a script that catered enough time and energy and character development to what amounted to almost, I think it was 8 characters in the end that had to have some kind of, and then also a fight as well. So it became, what's more important, establishing the characters and getting their fight scenes, or actually having a story, and trying to balance all of that was difficult. And then dealing with the film being taken away for 11 months and re-edited after we turned in a very good movie. Very upsetting, but you live and you move on, and the film ended up being okay and doing very good business. So it's just a shame because out there somewhere is a really, really good version of it. The one thing they really didn't like apparently was I had a huge backstory on Iko, which I thought was great, which, he's Islamic and his wife was Islamic, who had been killed. And we saw a lot of his faith and everything there. And it was really, really good. But I guess it was deemed not or problematic in one of the markets that they were selling in. So they just skipped the whole thing gone, which was really, really kind of heartbreaking. And I laugh about it now. I laugh about it because the film did okay and it went off, but it was very upsetting to all of us. And there was a few things. So that was tough. But the film itself, making it, was one of the most biggest joys of my career. It was fantastic. I love working in Thailand. The crews were brilliant. Working with John again, my favorite DP, and the cast were great to work with. You might have had some egos under different circumstances, but we had Michael Bisping, who was at the time the champ, and set the standard very early on. Someone said something like, "Look at me, I can do this in real life," and Mike turned to him and said, "You can't do it in real life." And you're right. I can't really. And that was it. From that point on, they sat in a ring, laughing and joking, and there was no posturing because the real tough guy was established, and it was okay. And something about it, anyway. It's probably much, much more complex than that, but it was just a really, really fantastic, friendly dynamic throughout the film.
And all those guys are legends, man. So how cool was to have everybody together in one movie?
The real legends are the ones that are worthy of the title legend are normally the ones that are pretty cool to deal with. It's the wannabes and the not quites and the also rans that the biggest problem, egotistical.
Gotcha.
You know, but those guys were all fantastic. I loved working with them. It was, you know, Michael Jai White is a comic book nerd and a movie nerd. Scott is a movie nerd. Iko is just a very quiet, gentle, giving, generous, kind human being. Tony Jaa is like a monk, like a, you know, he's just this incredible spirit and quiet and hugs everyone and you know, apologizes and says hello and comes in and does his scene. It's like watching a whirlwind in action, you know, just destroys. Even Scott said it was the most intimidating screen fight that he ever had, the fight that he had with Tony. He said the power, the raw power, even of the misses and the touches was so. We had two actors on that, big guys, Ron Smurenberg and another guy they called Frankenstein. These are enormous human beings, so much flesh. You know, they eat the whole craft service table and they stop by it. And both of them, well, the first one made the mistake. He said, Tony, kick me for real so it looks for real. It's a leg kick. I'm not sure. And bang, he's down on a stretcher, being taken out. They were doing the fight in the police station and they were having some trouble getting one of the hits to make contact. And Ron Smorenberg turned. And it was in the moment while we were shooting and we were about to do the second take. He said, Tony, just hit me for real. And I heard this and sort of moved away from the monitor to sort of half-heartedly say, no, don't do it for real. By that time, Tony had kicked him and bang, stretcher out. And so I saw that twice happen with stunt guys say, kick me for real and get out the stretcher.
I love how it's this one kick instantly stretcher. Is the next quote.
Well,
oh my goodness.
Loud cracking sound, you know, which is sort of an inhuman leather, you know, punching bag sound and then you realize there's a difference to a sound when someone gets slapped and when someone gets hit with one of those haymakers, you know, that takes the wind out of them.
Did you ever think, do you think you might work in the future with Donnie Yen at some point?
I'd love to. I'm not as passionate about continuing too heavily in the martial arts. I loved it. I've enjoyed it. It's been extraordinarily exciting to me, and has you know, with Avengement, and if you include the Avengement and Debt Collector movies as martial arts movies, and there's a certain amount of fighting in them, so it's a very sort of tapered edge of martial arts. If you think of wushu, in the Chinese style, you know.
So more action now, more action thriller.
Yeah, I enjoy working with actors of, you know, the highest quality that I can get my producers to pay for, and sort of elevating the stories, elevating the cast, and predominantly elevating the budgets as well, and getting to make these films that a lot of people see, you know, as opposed to very, very good films that I'm very proud of. But when I ask my daughters, they say, we've never heard of your movies. None of my friends have heard of your movies, Dad, you know? And it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of middle-aged guys who love these movies, kids. It's like, and they're like, no.
There's a hardcore action fan base out there. There's a lot of fans of your films, man.
And I'm so grateful for it and so lucky to have made these films that have resonated with them. Well, you know, the Avengement pictures and Debt Collector pictures, they've got me a great agent. You know, I'm represented by one of the top agencies in town. They've got me great meetings, and so I have only love for the action genre, and will continue to make movies. But
horror?
Horror, I love horror. You know,
would you do a horror film in the future, maybe?
Because it's really scary and not just horror for the sake of, you know, showing blood and gore.
Nice.
I don't get that. I'm actually quite squeamish in real life when it comes to it. You know, I've seen enough of it on film sets when it's not wanted because an accident has happened. Not on my films, but as a working stunt, 20 years, it's, you know, where you've had to hold someone and get the blood on you. It's not something that I don't. It doesn't ride heavily in my mind as something I want to replicate over and over. You know, whereas action and heroism and grace, a form of grace that a hero in a movie attains by trying to put himself above or against an enormous force. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. It's poetry, but simply making things where people are blown to pieces is
right. You want to. Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. It's not it's not just eye candy. You want mind candy.
Yes.
In your movies.
I think you could say that. That's
there you go. All right, let's have some fun. Let's watch the movie again. The movie. We're going to premiere the movie right now, guys.
A couple of
Excuse me.
they've seen the whole movie with the trailer. I would like to say that you definitely do not see the whole movie with the trailer.
Oh, nice.
You see a
Okay.
very, very small part of it. There's a lot of action in it. That's not to say there's not much action, but
Right.
but the whole plot, holding Daniel, the whole with Dominic, the whole plot with
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it again here. And I know it's going to be really hard. The sounds turn off for the audience, so that way you can do your commentary over it. I know it's going to be hard without doing spoilers, but yeah, let's talk a little bit here. Let's watch it again.
I don't know.
You want to tell us where that gold is? Maybe we can all go home.
But there she is.
Doing my best.
So she's being, it looks from the plot synopsis, it looks like she's being like framed as a traitor, right? And these guys here
A
are,
conspirator having
ahead,
her
go
head. I don't know if you've ever seen any footage of it, but they pull the girls' dresses off, they shave their head, and in this particular case, put a lipstick swastika on her head and made them march through the streets. At which point they punched and spat on and kicked. And we took all of this from actual footage. I have the actual photographs of this happening in 44. As the German.
I promise.
If I were you,
Right.
I'd keep real still, Marie.
These Americans came across her to get out of it as quickly as possible.
right, copy that. So she comes across, it looks like she comes across Louis and the team here. And
She's directed them to this graveyard, which is where the gold is supposedly hidden.
okay, so they're kind of blackmailing her. Like, you want our protection. Okay, I
Yes.
see what's going on.
Semi. They're opportunists.
Gotcha.
Well, then the fighting is over.
Right there's the gold.
Freedom.
Yeah, Daniel's always been good looking. Look at this guy. This is GQ villain we got going here.
It's funny. We're in this mud hole for this whole thing, up to our knees in the most disgusting dirt and blood. But whenever Daniel was on set, it was a very strange thing happened. All the women on set started wearing makeup and looking pretty. It's really frustrating. And then when he left, they went back to looking like haggard old dust people like the rest of us.
I'm not surprised. Now he's getting attacked right here.
Why? Yes. In the movie, it's 1941, so this is back 3 years earlier when the Germans were in full sort of residency in France. This film is set in the southern part of France, in Aubagne, which is one of the last sort of part. It fought over, contested heavily in 44.
Right.
Je
Gotcha.
suis résistante.
Then we're going to tar and
I
feather
see what
that
you're
girl.
saying right here. Cutting the
She
head.
begged us to help
Wow.
her. Promised the major.
And there's real photos of that and everything.
Yeah,
Oh my
We actually got
goodness.
actual footage, which we bought, which is over the title sequence of the girl getting her tattoo drawn with
She
a.
begged us
Wow.
to help her. Promised the
Here's our crew here. All right.
major buried treasure.
Louis and his crew. Timothy.
We don't find that gold by sundown. This will not end last.
There he is.
So this guy's sort of a rough outrider. They fought all their way up from, they obviously landed in Sicily and fought their way up through Italy. There was a small break, and then they fought their into France, which is where they've met up with her. While the other Allied invasion, June 6th, was coming in through the north, through Normandy. Now,
Right.
what this little team is they're officers and NCOs. They're older and a little nastier than the rest, and they've gone off on their own to sort of see what they can get opportunistically, stealing, that sort of thing. Now this happened. It's not something people are think about particularly, because it's a sort of nasty, it's slightly more unpleasant area. They weren't necessarily out to kill anyone, but they'd certainly seen enough fighting that they felt they deserved a little bit of the spoils of war. Let's put
Gotcha.
it-
Major.
You're the one that told us there was gold here, Marie.
So the
Dominic-
French show up too here. We got the French showing up.
Yep, the French have shown up. These are two resistance fighters that knew Marie earlier in 41. Now, I'm not going to go into the relationship
Right,
there
right.
too much, because that would be a spoiler.
That
But
was
Dominic and Charles Faddy. Charles Faddy was with me on Savage Dog before. He's a French actor. He was in the Dien Bien Phu, one of the greatest Vietnam films ever made about the French leaving Vietnam, a huge French epic, which is one of my favorites. He played a parrot in that, so I was quite happy to get
check that out.
Oh, it's
All right,
fantastic.
copy that.
Shondorf, I think it is.
There he is. Look at that perfect timing there. Dominique, man, this dude is just legend. He's so badass.
They're here waiting for us.
Man, I love the way the action is.
She's a liar.
Now he's obviously something has happened here.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yes.
We can't really talk about it too much, but
Spoil that one. That gives quite a lot away. So I'm going to sort of
Mhm.
steer clear of that. That way, I wouldn't leave something.
yeah, his face is all messed up there.
Think there's a chance they just pass us by?
Hell no, they're coming. We will let you live. You got to help us kill these
One of
guys.
the major things about this film was that because of COVID, the lack of people working, we had access to the Minsk Belarus military, which was the soldiers, the extras, but also all the uniforms, the tanks, the guns, we had to pay for it, but it's on a Hollywood movie it would absolutely not have been with even. I mean, it would be more than this entire budget to have done this in Hollywood. So, and all of their stuff is real. None of it's replica. I mean, the MP44 is $30,000 or $40,000 a piece over here.
Look at all this candy we got. Nice. And man, so she's like, all right. Oh, there he is in the back there, Dominique, right there. There he is.
Yeah.
Said you can shoot. Question is.
So now it's just all balls to the wall here. Now she's
They
gonna
did
have
really
to
good with
team
it.
up.
I thought I'd be really tough and show her how to shoot it. I shot it and it pinched my finger. There's something that moves on the head of the bolt over there, the wood.
Yeah.
And it gave me a huge blood blister. I gave it back to her and she shot it through the whole thing. She was fine with it. She was much better than me.
Nice.
But
Can you really?
Pretty good.
If we ambush them just right.
If you think about it.
I mean,
this
We won't stand a chance.
really getting intense now. There's a stunt right there.
Yeah, those guys.
Boom.
That was a good bomb. That one.
Don't you see? She's using you.
One clever trickster, Marie.
Maybe we put down these
Timothy's a
guns.
good
We'll all
actor,
get a little
man.
piece of that gold. We got a deal.
Like his acting. I felt sorry for somebody ate it right there.
Oh, a lot of people on this one. We got some BTS footage. One of the poor Germans getting up, and he had his mouth full, his nostrils were full, his ears were full, his eyes. But he was very nice. These are young guys that enjoy it.
Yeah.
He's a stunt man, and honestly, if you know it's happening and you're ready for it, you get in there and you sell it, and you get in there. You don't feel you don't feel it. If it catches you by surprise, you'd be horrified. If you prepare yourself for it, you bit down on your guts, you've got your fortitude going, you've rehearsed a dozen times, you know where you're going to fall blind, and you do it. It's a hell of a lot of fun. We used to do the things, I did 13 episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger, and you did the fights with Chuck, and he'd clamp you in these fights, but you loved it. It was fantastic to get kicked by Chuck. That was that was what you wanted, and you loved it as a stuntman. I don't understand any other way of doing it. Now, if you're working with an actor, you don't do that. Of course, they're trained to act. They're not the same. But no, it's in stunts you get into the game because you're going to take a couple of hits. You're going to get some dust on you and get a little bit of sparks and smell the black powder up close. But that's fun, isn't it? Yeah,
it's bragging rights too. Hey, Chuck Norris kicked me in the gut, full blast. I survived.
My green card.
We put down these guns. We all get
Right
a
here,
little
I
piece
just
of
wanted
that
to show
gold.
this again,
We got a deal.
No more deals.
Boom. Yeah, someone's eating it. Oh yeah, balls to the wall. Let's go.
Oh yeah, it got pretty intense in there for a bit. It was
yeah. Woo.
Knife fight Tim has. That's with one of the stunt guys that Daniel brought on from 8711. Remy.
Right.
Man, and they did very, very well. Daniel helped a lot in the fights. Obviously, Luc Lafontaine, who plays a part in this, was my regular stunt coordinator, who has been for almost 20 years. But Daniel came and stepped in and did a lot of that stuff as well. brilliant.
Nice, man.
Very.
We got Kevin here saying, "Can't wait to watch this. Film looks badass." That's right. That's right.
Kevin, hope you enjoy
Boom,
it.
boom, boom. That's right. That's all you need to say.
Booms in this one. Lots of booms. Lots of ringing ears on set on this, I'm afraid. I forgot to put the word a couple of times.
Yeah, but I'm really excited. A lot of people in the comments are asking, would there be a triple threat too? And I think you've already answered that earlier. That you're kind of
it's tricky. You know, I love everyone involved in that, but it is you know, you get a short time. I'm on a very, very good rise at the moment. I've been brilliantly lucky over the last 5 years. Each film has surpassed the last one before it in the amount of money it's made, how much money it was made for, how much I got paid. The least important of which is how much I got paid, by the way. It's trying to make things as you know, and I you know, it would have to be under the right circumstances, because if you put your heart and soul into a film and then it gets taken apart when you're not there to protect it,
right.
You're very, very cautious about going through that again, you know, because you know, if am I going to bust my ass on a film again and then, you know, watch over a year as someone else decides to dismantle it because for whatever reason, no matter how good or bad, whether they can't sell it in China or they've got to do this or they've got to do that.
Right.
I don't mind what the reasoning is, but if it doesn't fit in with my plan, then it's bad.
Yeah, copy that.
Copy
that.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit, would you team up with Scott again in the future?
Oh yeah, Scott and I've got a lot planned. I would love to work with him again. He's phenomenal. I want to bring him in to play the bad guy on a big movie is what I think you see him up against you know, an A-list actor as the bad guy. He hold his own, man. Brilliant. He's a very, very good actor. He commits like no one I know, and you know the action's going to be, you know, be really, really good as well. So yeah, absolutely, 100%. Count me in on that.
I'm really excited for that. I want to see him as a villain too.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him and John Wick 4, man. Him and Marco Zaror and all those guys. I'm excited for that. But yes, I don't want to keep you too much, my friend. I could talk to you all day, my friend, about movies and, of course, your films, especially them, you know, them spaghetti westerns. Maybe we should get together in the future and talk about our favorite spaghetti westerns. That'll be a lot of fun. I love Sabata. I mean, there's so many. There's so many good ones out there. But it was an honor. Yes, it was an honor and a privilege to have you here, Jesse. Thanks again.
I tried to do it for a while. Sorry it took the trailer to make it work, but I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone tuning in and saying hello as well.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's one of those things where it's just, I understand. Like, it's like every time me and you were scheduling a podcast show, hey, you're off making another movie. It was just like bad timing. But hey, we made it happen, and thanks for hanging out. And as we say to all our guests here, you know, make this your second home, my friend. You're always welcome to come back. You know, when White Elephant comes out, maybe we could do the same thing with that trailer.
I would love to.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. And shout out to everybody involved, all the filmmakers for Hell Hath No Fury. That's right. Movie Dojo Army, make sure you go out, buy all of Jesse V. Johnson's films right now. Do it. and make, yeah, there you go. And make sure you definitely check out Hell Hath No Fury. Is the Blu-ray coming out this year as well?
I don't know what the physical media plan is on this one. I know it's November the 5th is the theatrical. November the 10th, it starts on the streaming services. I don't know much more than that, so we'll be jamming. But if you're in LA, November the 5th, keep an eye on my Facebook page, and I'll say where we're screening, and I'm going to get everyone together at the opening night, and we're going to try and make a red carpet out of it, and it'll be a public.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a blast. Oh yeah. I'll definitely be watching that. Definitely. But this was a blast, my friend. Oh, one more comment from Highly Combustible Reacts. First time to the channel, but I love what you got going on, Phat Samurai Guy. We'll be around more often, and we'll binge some of your content later. Glad I found you. Well, thanks. A shout out to me, not just Jesse. That's nice. Thank you so much, my friend. And this is the channel, Action, you know, Adventure, Martial Arts. This is the channel. We represent that here. That's our first love here. And I told you, Avengement, man. 5 out of 5 stars, baby.
Thank you so much.
That's how we roll. All right, Jesse, don't go anywhere yet. Thanks again for watching, guys. Don't forget, tomorrow, guys, at 6 p.m. Pacific, join us for another episode of Versus. We're doing remake versus remake tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's right. Friday the 13th versus Halloween remakes. Who will win? tomorrow. Make sure you guys join us for that. And we're going to have another special guest on Friday. So thanks again for watching, guys. See you next time. And Jesse, hold on one second.